Hello, everybody. It's me, Tracy, and no, it's not Thursday, but I want to go live today because I have a couple of thoughts that I decided, you know what, I'll share them with people and just talk. Um, so again, my name is Tracy. Normally, you see me on Thursdays with Tracy Live, but today it's Monday, so not Thursday. So before I start, I want to invite you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and of course, support us on Patreon. We really appreciate it. And if you don't have enough for Patreon, that's fine. But please share our videos. We've got a lot of great things planned. I'm not sure what that is in my eye. Um, but like I said, it's just a day I wanted to just, like I said, come in, talk a little bit, and just kind of cut the title suggests what I'm going to be talking about today. Um, Talking about the MLK Day and how we've really done a terrible job of letting this holiday get hijacked. Um, we talked about, we know the history, how this holiday came to be. Um, and we know, how people, especially those on the right, just love to quote Dr. King on this day, the third Monday in January. But the rest of the year, they somehow forget about what Dr. King really stood for. Um, and it's just like we keep letting this happen. And I don't know what we do to stop it, but we've got to do better. I mean, you literally had Marco Rubio. Uh, oh, what's that other one? Rand Paul. Oh, like, what are you talking about? You're against the Voters' Rights Act, and you're for what Dr. King was saying. You're gonna have to miss me with that. Oh, hi, Susan. Yeah, I know you're catching me on Monday, not Thursday, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Um, but it really annoys me about how this holiday that was set aside to honor someone who did such great work, and it's just been hijacked by a bunch of people, a bunch of racists. Let's just call them what they are. They're a bunch of racists who have decided, you know what? I'll put a quote about that, and their favorite one is always um, the "I Have a Dream" speech, where King says one about, you know, we should be judged by not our skin color, but by the content of our character. Oh, they just love that. Just minus everything that they've actually done. Minus the fact that they're standing in opposition to the John Lewis um, Voters' Rights Act. Minus the fact that their policies or lack of proposing policies have led to the black community experiencing such economic distraught. But no, we're going to just quote Dr. King for no reason. Um, yes, those two. Yes, I'm going to get to that just here in a second. But it just really infuriates me. And I don't know why it makes me so mad because I'm like, well, did you hear Dr. King talk about how voting is a right? And how how we need to expand that. Nope, you just want to take that one line and just use it for whatever you want to. It just amazes me um that people can do that kind of thing, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just naive. Maybe I'm born with it. Maybe it's just uh I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm just not aware that people who diametrically oppose what Dr. King was actually talking about, especially in his later years, you want to take one quote, totally take it out of context, and then just just obliterate it. And that's what makes me sick. Now, Susan did raise a point, and I'm trying to email somebody here, so y'all got to pardon me. Um, the corporate Democrats. Uh, these yahoos are just fantastically making me want to throw up. So, or if you're not aware, Joe Biden recently went down to Georgia to make a speech about voters' rights. Again, wrong location. You should have been in either West Virginia or Arizona. If those are the only two senators that are saying you can't suspend the filibuster to get this passed, minus the fact that they suspended the filibuster to raise the debt ceiling, but hey, that's here, there, whatever. So Joe Biden makes this speech, and Kamala Harris is with him, and I believe they made it, and I know I'm going to get rings through the court for this. It was Morehouse/Spelman. It was on their campus, because, Spelman is for the women, and Morehouse is for the men, but she must be talking about Susan. Can you explain what you're talking about? So he makes this speech, and I mean the corporate media just fawned all over it. Oh, it was so powerful. I'm like, wait a minute. He didn't say anything. He just said it's important to guarantee rights. Did he say how he's going to do it? I mean, he used verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and a couple of nouns, and I'm telling you, MSNBC was ready to just give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Just give it to him. And again, Biden did the same thing. He met with Kirsten or whichever one she is, to say, privately, I think, good job. But he meets with her, and she goes and makes a terrible speech about how she doesn't want to suspend the filibuster because it would just tear apart. Girl, sit down somewhere. Just sit down. Oh yeah, so whoever those other two people are, come on and say hello. Because Susan's out here by herself. It's just me and her chit-chatting with the rest of you guys watching. So if you're here, say hello. I won't bite, I promise. So she makes this speech and she talks about she can't suspend the filibuster because it's going to somehow lead to not working in a bipartisan manner. Couple parts on here, a couple of subsets that I want to talk about. One, could we please stop using the word bipartisanship? I'm tired of hearing it. It just literally is a bunch of corporates on both sides getting together to decide how they're going to screw us over. That's basically what bipartisanship is. Secondly, does she not know that the filibuster has a racist past? I'm pretty sure she does know it. And another thing that makes me so agitated with the Democratic Party is you're the DNC, right? People send you monthly donations, weekly, whatever it is. So you have money to run commercials, but you don't do it because of what? I mean, you know what? I'm just going to bring Marlon on. Because I cannot. Hey, Marlon!
Hey, you think that I have something better. I have no idea what gave you that idea. I have nothing better.
I just need somebody to bounce off of.
Okay. Well, bounce it off for me.
So I
Because what you said was absolutely true. There was a bunch of nouns and a bunch of verbs, and you mad and you irritated, but you ain't came up with one doggone plan on how you gonna get it done. But you mad and you're not gonna take it no more.
just wish, and I know you're gonna disagree with me on this, but I don't care. This is my show, my opinion. I just wish people would realize Joe Biden doesn't want voters' rights. He does not want it. I'm like, people, it's right there in front of your face. If you want something, you're gonna work for it. He wanted those little piddly $1,400 checks. He sends Kamala down to West or up to West Virginia or down to West Virginia, where it is from DC, and he gets her to talk on the radio station. He can't do the same thing for voters' rights.
First of all, let me cover two things. Hey, Susan.
Yes, she's here.
No, she. What am I, chopped liver? Hey, Susan.
No, Susan, you are not chopped liver. But since I
No.
don't know, I'm talking about somebody I can see. I can see them. I just see your comments. So no, you are not chopped liver.
You're gonna have people who will just tune in just to listen and get knowledge, and that's cool. You don't have to comment. It's cool if you get something out of it. Now, if you're just coming on here just to go, so I'm gonna take some stuff from Dib so I can use it against them at a later date. Ha ha ha. You could
Oh,
leave.
I give them plenty of fodder to do that.
But Biden right now, that whole speech was no more than to give the impression that he can see us now. He can see us now.
I did not know that was coming. I knew that was coming.
That's all that speech was already is. I heard what y'all are saying, and I want to make sure that you understand that I'm on your side, even though I'm not in no way, shape, or form is going to put any more effort into it than what I've been doing, unless it's about 6 months before the election, and I realize that the polls are saying that we're going to lose big, and then all of a sudden you're going to become president with all your presidential powers that you
See,
didn't
yeah.
have the first year because you had to check and see and check and knowledge, and Congress and Senate need to do. Now all of a sudden you'll be a president when the 3 months before the election come out and you realize, oh crap, we about to lose.
Marlon, you being too nice. He does not want voters' rights. He does not. And if he does want them, he needs to tell the Democrats, hey, Democrats, we got perhaps hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in our bank. You can't tell me they can't run a commercial. They can't run just nothing. Just sitting there doing nothing.
Biden, here's the deal. Biden wants voters' rights. Biden doesn't want to make it an executive order. Biden wants it to. You got to remember what Biden is. We
A
threw out a whole bunch
racist?
of. We threw out a lot of adjectives yesterday or the day before. We threw out a lot of adjectives. But this dude is a politician's politician. He's been doing this for a long time. And he realized that unless this goes through Congress and goes through the House, well, House Congress or whatever, and become a law. In other words, in order for you to abolish this law, you have to vote again. If he does an executive order, if he lose the election, the next president can come in and undo it with a stroke of a pen. But if it becomes a law, you have to go through the same rigmarole that made it a law. You have to go through the same rigmarole to abolish it, and he knows that. He doesn't want to take the easy road out because, and here's the funny thing about it is, because if he makes it an executive law and the next president comes in and he erases it, who you think the people of the United States is going to blame? They're not going to blame that president. They're going to blame Biden because you didn't make it a law. And this is for the people who are not political savvy as we are. These are people who think the president just can blink his eyes and everything get done, and the House and Senate is just there to make farter noise. So he knows how to play the game. And that was just a shot across the bow to the Senate and Congress going, hey, now I'm telling everybody in the United States that it ain't me, it's you.
Well, see, you know, I'm gonna disagree with you on 99% of what you just said.
99% of the time, you always disagree with me.
I
We have
don't always disagree with you.
I said 99%.
I don't. I think it's about maybe 80%. I'm like, no. But here's what I'm saying though. Let's just play yes or no. Is
Okay.
Joe Biden not the most powerful person in the Democratic Party?
At this point in time, no.
I
Apparently not.
mean, him having the title of okay,
And
I'll
the title
rephrase it.
is president.
President.
He
He
should
should
be.
be okay.
Yeah,
He should be the most powerful person in the Democratic Party. So we both agree on that. As the token head of the Democratic Party, you mean he can't tell the Democratic chair, hey, why don't we run commercials in Arizona and West Virginia and just simply say, these two people are a bunch of racists and end it?
well,
Nope.
and that was always my point, and me and Theus brought it up Saturday or Sunday. These things run into each other now, so we brought it up. The only thing that didn't resonate with me, it was a pretty speech, but it was a pretty speech in your own backyard. So yeah, I totally agree with exactly what you said. You should have did that speech in Arizona, or you should have did that speech in West Virginia.
Or
But you did.
yeah,
But you
he
went
could have
to
went.
Georgia,
Yeah, he
who
could have
already
went
agree
to
with you.
Georgia and Arizona and West Virginia. If let's just say he wanted to make the speech in Georgia, okay, get on Air Force One and then fly to Arizona. Then after you get to Arizona, come back to West Virginia.
I know, but no, he can't do it by the
Yeah, he's. Oh yeah, that's right. You can
Oh,
read the comments.
he can get the DNC or whoever the street
See,
is.
now Susan's talking about a level I want to use. Because, see,
And the first thing out of everybody's mouth is he being petty.
you know what? Trump was petty when he got them tax breaks for the rich through.
Depends on who you talking to. On our side, yes, he was being petty. On his side, it was being president. You do what you do it. You do it.
Oh, hi,
Anna,
Anna!
hey
Anna, this is the
Anna.
first time you've been in one of my lives. I'm so happy. Not that I'm not happy Susan here, because I'm happy this is the first time and Anna's first. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
But that's what I think. That's what's agitating me so badly is that I'm seeing something. Here's what I'll say, and I'll explain behind me.
Hmm.
Joe Biden is the worst Democratic president I've ever experienced in my entire lifetime,
Nope.
ever.
Nope. Still give that to Jimmy Carter.
Oh no, Jimmy Carter. It was not Jimmy Carter's fault that Reagan exchanged weapons for hostages. That was not his fault. He made a promise that he would never drop a bomb on any country, and he kept that promise. That's always going to put Jimmy Carter above and beyond any of the presidents. But Biden, I'm like, dude, that answer is right there in front of you, and I'm glad Susan alluded to this. And I want you to hear me out before you say, no, this can't work. I say go all the way. It depends on how bad he wants voters' rights, but I say go all the way petty. Take Joe to the side, be like, you know what, Joe? It'd be a real shame if we investigated your daughter for jacking up the prices of prescriptions. That would be really shameful if we launch an investigation into. I'm not saying we're gonna do it, but it'd just be so unfortunate. Now, we can play this two ways, Joe. Either you can support voters' rights and I'll build you a statue and make sure West Virginia gets more money, or you can keep opposing it and I'll make you enemy number one. Now, Joe, how would you like to play this game? That's how Tracy would go about it. I'm ready to get real petty for voters' rights because this is more important than the $1,400 checks. This is way more important than any other little promises Biden made. This is too important. And you may now proceed.
It ain't gonna work. You still, in order for the Democratic Party to be petty, the Democratic Party is gonna have to start being petty. And they just for whatever reason they love to take punches and still turn the other cheek. That's why people like me and you could never run for office because Kristen Cinema would have got cussed out by me a long time ago. Manchin
Thank
would have
you.
got cussed out by me a long time ago. Boebert would have been cussed out in her face a long time ago for leaving the email on there. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not even going to go to Nancy Pelosi and go, "Did you say something to her?" No, I'm going to say something to her personally. Whatever you can say over the phone, you can say in my face. And you better understand that I'm going to say something back. But that's neither here nor there. The Democratic Party always have a tendency of the turn the other cheek mentality. And that's all it always been. They want everything to be clean cut. They always want the American people to do all the heavy lifting, and then they was sit there and take the happiness of saying, well, we was the one that led you to that fight, even though we do jack, but say this is what we want. Now you go and do the work.
And that's what makes me so mad, especially about the Voters' Rights Act, both the John Lewis one and the other one, that name I can't think of right now. You set King's holiday as the deadline. Now it's Tuesday. Now it's going to be Wednesday. Then next week it's going to be Thursday. By the time they pass it, most states have already drew up their maps. They've gerrymandered it halfway. They gerrymandered already, so they're going to be like, well, we already did what we're going to do. Why wait? What, you know an election is going to come in 2022. You know you need the House, you need the Senate, you need the White House. You need all three of those in your favor to get something done. Whatever that is you want to get done. You just go sit around and you know how important the black people's vote is. We are essentially what Thea said, we are the tiebreaker. If you make it hard for us to vote, you're going to be like, well, why did we lose? What did we lose? Sit down. That's what I just want to tell the Democratic Party. Sit down.
It just really just kills me. Oh, this.
Yes, Anna, you sure? Yeah, I'm about to talk about that in a few seconds because that one really ticks me off.
The only thing that really makes me mad about the
Oh,
Democratic Party that just sort of just irks me is if you was even being selfish, just call it being selfish. It is in your best interest to put voter laws on the book. It is in your best interest. Even if you was a corporate Democrat and you're just ran by money and that, and the other, and you really don't care. Well, dude, how much money you think you gonna get when you're not in office anymore and you can't give the backseat handouts anymore? It is
yeah,
in your best interest to do this because the Republicans are absolutely correct. The more people vote, the less likely the Republicans win.
yep. And hey, Mickey,
Hey,
I
Mickey.
gotta say, hey, Mickey. I think this is Mickey's first time in one of my lives. So hey, Mickey. But
That man.
that's what I think. That's what I keep saying. Well, that's what frustrates me. The whole thing frustrates me. But when you're sitting here, you're quoting Dr. King. First of all, you're not quoting the more radical Dr. King. You're quoting the nice Dr. King, like I
Di-
talked about in the first part of the show.
Disney Dr. King.
Yes, Hallmark Dr. King.
Yeah.
You're not talking
And
about the.
you know why I'm rolling my eyes right now?
That's what it is. You,
No, it ain't that. It's the same quote since I was in elementary school.
I'm gonna
You
guess
have
which
a
one.
we as a nation not the content, not the color of our
You.
skin,
Oh
but
yeah.
the
You must have
content of
watched the
our
first
character.
part.
No, I haven't watched anything. I know what I haven't
Yeah,
watched
they say the
anything
same thing every
because
year. I'm like,
Tracy, they
mm,
said it every single year after year, president after president, Congress, Senate. It doesn't even matter who's in the office. It's the same. Speak. They literally think the on the mountaintop is the only speech Martin Luther King ever said.
no, they ignored the on the
I
mountaintop
mean, not the
speech.
mountaintop. I had a
I have a
dream that
dream.
I
Yeah,
have a
they don't want to hear the mountaintop speech. They don't want to
they
hear that one.
really just feel like the I had a dream is the only speech that Dr. Martin Luther King has ever spoken, ever. Ever.
Yes, Susan. That's a really important one. They don't want to hear nothing about we coming for our. They don't want to hear nothing about that. No, nope, 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 nope. Can't do it. Mm-mm. And that I keep saying, and that's what makes me mad. But again, you have people like Mark Rubio. Dude, you not about nobody's voters' rights. Sit your little self down. Sit down. Sit.
It's
Get
for
your
the
little high
individual.
chair and sit down.
It's for the people who are not into politics, and quite honestly, as long as you have closed off every avenue other than Fox, other than OAN, other than Newsmax, if that's your revenue for information, these people can say whatever they want to.
And it's so ridiculous that we disrespect what Dr. King really worked for. We're disrespect, not we, us.
Them.
Yeah, them. Thank you. They just totally disrespect. From the Joe Bidens to the. Well, I don't think Donald Trump ever talked about King.
Yeah, he did.
He did. What did he say?
Same little stupid speech.
Oh, somebody must have wrote it for him. But
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah.
um, I think what it is for me is like I said before, you've disrespected the work that Dr. King talked about. Dr. King talked about not only, the working poor, but he was focused on black people having more of an economic impact and more, better wages and all these things. But you have, Miss Cinema with her thumbs down voting against $15 minimum wage, after you just campaigned off of minimum wage. I guess my question is, how do we make sure that we hold these politicians accountable for the things that they say on the campaign? Because I'm just like, she fooled us.
The fact of the matter is, and I've said this a long time ago, we really need to we need to spend more time primary. We
Sure
need to
do.
start. That's how you start holding these Democrats more responsible, is to primary another Democrat. Not, well, I'm not gonna vote. Not, I'm just gonna sit and just let them lose their seat and all this other stuff. No, you need to primary somebody who's gonna go against them. You need to. Honestly, that's exactly what Arizona is doing. They're working on primary and cinema. They
But
knew
she's
they
not
got
up
screwed
until
up.
25.
Yep, and they're working
She,
on it now. Now, chances
yeah.
are she ain't gonna run anyway, but
Oh, you
just
know
in case,
what? I think she is. Her ego. I
she
I
ain't.
gotta bet.
She definitely ain't running. If
I
you're,
got money on this. She's running,
I'll
and
I'll
I
put
bet
money
you
on it. Then
Kamala Harris. I bet you Kamala Harris goes and campaigns for her. I got money on it.
nobody gonna.
Money,
Nobody is
money,
gonna
money,
campaign. Tracy,
money.
nobody bet money. Nobody is going. Cinema is not running because Cinema no beyond a chance in heck she's
Oh,
winning.
she's running. She is running. Her ego. Her and
Her
Trump have the
ego can
same.
do all she want to.
She
Her
her.
her friends who she dropped after the campaign, who was trying to tell her what you're doing is wrong, and she all of a sudden just dropped off the content. Don't even speak to her more. The campaign that got her into office, she got rid of them. So who she's running with who?
I didn't say she was going to win. I said she's going to run. I didn't say she won't get defeated in the primaries,
I
but
tell you, let me
I
explain
think
this
she's
to
gonna
you.
put a re-election bid up.
She is just as stupid as I thought she was then. You are just as dumb as you are dumb as a bucket of rocks. You is no way in the world that you honestly think that you're going to win. You have screwed over the American people. You have lied. You have cheated. You have stolen. You have done everything that you possibly can to be the opposite of everything that you run for. And you have the audacity to try to run for
But Marlon,
absolutely what reason?
here's my point. Joe Manchin does it all the time and gets reelected.
Because there's people in West Virginia who actually still like Joe Manchin.
Yeah, explain that one to me. I'm like,
That
huh?
I don't. Yeah. Well, it's the rich people who
Oh,
don't
so
still.
she thinks like you think that she's gonna become a lobbyist.
Yeah.
I'm
She,
thinking she running
either,
again.
either she gonna become a lobbyist or she's gonna go to a corporation to be on their board of directors with the inside knowledge of the government. She's gonna do something. but I just can't see her running again. And like I said, if she does, you're about as stupid as I
I
ever
didn't
thought
say she was
anybody
gonna
could.
win, but I think she's running because I look at Joe Manchin. I'm like, dude, how you keep getting reelected? What what's wrong? If somebody out there from West Virginia, please tell me why you voted for her.
Well,
Please, because I'm like, uh,
well, the point of the matter is that they're going to primary her. Arizona have already said they're working on it right now. Yeah, it may be 2025, but they're putting somebody together right here and right now. They've already spoken. They do not want cinema back ever again.
and even
Period.
she knows. And the thing that annoys me about her, I know what Joe Manchin's end game is. He's just the agitator. No, she's the agitator. But he'll say he wants things. I literally don't know what she stands for. I'm like, oh, okay, what is it?
She don't want voters' rights. She won't. This she did a speech. She did her little speech
Tell me
one
all them fake
day
tears. I'm
that
like, girl, if you don't. And then she said when she was in Congress, and she actually started out as a Green Party candidate. That's why I'm like, girl, is your soul worth that much?
yeah.
I
We
mean,
we we
come
we've talked
on.
about it. We have talked about it before that there are people who there is no way, shape, or form that you have done what you have done in your lifetime and you have not sold your soul. There is
And,
nothing, there
yeah,
is absolutely nothing you can say. There is no Bible verse that you can tell me. There is no puppy dog that you saved in the cold and the rain that's going to explain to me that the stuff that comes out of your mouth and the things that you do that you know is detrimental not only to the black community, not only to the indigenous people, not only to the Asian people, the United States itself.
exactly.
And you have no problem whatsoever doing it, you lifeless soul of a human being.
You called her a human being because I was about to say something else. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I don't cuss. Oh,
You don't cuss. I
I'm
did look. If I didn't cuss because heck was not the word I wanted to use, so if I ain't cussing now, come on. Now you can tell me I can cuss now. I need to go back and rearrange my language.
I'm reading what Mickey's saying. Mickey's point. Now, see, Mickey, you done started me. That's another thing I can't stand about the Democrat Party. Why, when Jim Clyburn speak, black people start listening? Y'all need to stop listening to that man. He
Because
ruined.
Jim Clyburn only comes out when he's needed.
But Marlon, come on. What spit? What
You
is it about him that make black people like, yep, I'm gonna listen to that guy? What? I don't get it. I'm just
here
like,
here
okay,
because right at this point in time, you, me, Theas, the people on here, we have the inside knowledge on a lot of things simply because we have the knowledge enough to actually look further than what's on print or who's this and who's that. And it's as simple as why do people listen to Jim Clyburn? Because Jim Clyburn is Jim Clyburn and it's a name that everybody recognizes. They will never ever go and look at the policies and the policies of Jim Clyburn. The first thing they're gonna see of Jim Clyburn is, oh, he was a civil rights leader who came up in the ranks and he fighting for us. That
yeah,
is it. They're not going any further than that. Civil rights, black man, been in here for a long time. What do he have to say?
that
Yes,
done
I agree.
sold the rights out, and that's another thing. I got to jump way back. So, after Biden gave his speech, he's back in D.C. and a reporter says, "Hey, uh, what do you think about the voters' rights chances of passing?" No, Joe Biden did not say, I don't know. Dude,
He don't.
did you hear the speech that you just made?
He don't know.
I'm like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, these people be make me want to run for office. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing the wrong thing.
That's a good way of putting it, Anna. That's what Jim Clyburn is.
Wait a
He's
minute, I done
identity.
miss. Hold
He,
on.
no, he's identity politics.
Yeah, he is.
That's all
He
he. That's all he is. Nobody. Everybody knows the name Jim Clyburn. Nobody except handful of people who can't change a lot of things know what his policies is. But as long as he's known in the black community as a civil rights leader who, and I know I'm making light of it, but honestly, that's how they think. He's a
Yeah.
former civil rights leader who who worked his way up in the ranks and and went to the whatever, and he's been here for a long time, and he's a black man. Let's listen to him.
Yeah.
And then that thing Thea sent you or sent us, the person who's running against Jim Clyburn, whew, that dude, yeah,
Yeah.
Jim ain't losing no time soon. Let's put it to you that way.
Oh, you talking about Marcel?
Yeah.
You're talking about Marcel. I'm not gonna ask you because he said wait till I watch it. So I'm like, okay, I got to carve out some time to watch it.
Watch the first 10 minutes.
But the whole interview is like an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, watch the first 10 minutes.
Oh gosh, it can't be that bad.
I'm saving you because I even called Theas and said, Theas, do I need to really watch the whole hour of this dude? And he was like, no, it gets worse. And I was like, if I was not, I'm trying not to be a conspiracy theory.
We got a Marcellus Fantastic one going.
Marcellus is a oh boy.
I just saw that. I'm like, we got somebody sitting.
Oh boy. Susan, I love you, honey, but not a chance in heck. No. For the love of everything that's good, no. And Theas, I see what you wrote on there. Watch it all. I'm not.
Wait a minute, that was Theas that wrote. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Hey Theas, this is the most people that've ever watched me go live. Oh, I want to cry. Oh, we are the world. We are the children. Oh, wow. Y'all did my heart so good. But
I'm not watching it all.
I'm not. Yeah, oh, wait a minute. But Susan came back. She said, yes, watch it. She's coming back on you, Marlon.
Nope. Love you, Susan. Not going to happen. I'm not. I know about again,
Girl, you ain't the only one cried when Nina lost. I was in a depression stage for like a week. I was like, oh, Lord, I can't. And I want to support Charles Booker so bad. I want Rand Paul gone so much. I'm willing to move to Kentucky, change my citizenship, and just be like for 5 weeks.
Lord.
He couldn't have been that bad. He couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah.
Because he got my attention when he said no taxes for black people. I was like, wait a minute, you got my attention now. You got my attention.
Mm-hmm. How you gonna do that, Marcel?
Hey, I'm just saying he got my attention.
That's all he gonna get.
But we need to start, we need to
Susan, it ain't for me. I'm
Wait a minute, these comments are coming in fast now. Wait a minute.
Hey, you better get used to it. You wanted the people.
I did.
Keep up.
Yes, and it's that deep. Rand Paul, that fake doctor. I'm gonna say it, optometrists are not doctors. They're eye technicians. He the one created his own board because he couldn't even pass the optometry exam. So he said, I'll bump you there. Fake doctor.
The one above that one. The one above that one.
Oh, yes, this one. I forgot that one. Oh, my goodness. Don't do it for me, Marlon. Do it for you. Because, Marlon, they see Marlon, us now. I gotta do it.
I watched.
I know, Susan, he not, and that's what makes it bad because I really like Charles Booker. He stands for every. I like him a little bit more than Nina. I really do. I'm like,
I like Charles.
I love Charles and his little family. They so precious.
I'm down with Charles Booker.
But Marcel couldn't have been that bad. I'm gonna have to watch this because now you got me curious. Like,
I'm telling you,
what did Marcel say?
after the first 10 minutes, it's just gonna be.
Cause that clip, I'm like, he looks like he's a pretty young. Yes, I am. I sure am. Yes, I got power. Wait till we get up to 10. Oh, you're not gonna be able to deal with me on no level. No level will you be able to deal with me.
Oh boy.
But
What's the next subject? I don't even want to talk about that dude no more.
I was going to get back to this pandering.
Okay, let's just get
and
back
what
to
Mickey raised was something that I think is very important. Now, we know, again, the Republican Party is trash. I don't like talking about, because nothing I'm going to suggest to them is ever going to improve them. They are who they are. But Democrats, if y'all don't stop pandering, especially on a day like this, y'all going to make it real hard. Y'all going to make it real hard on yourselves when you pander and then you don't support any policies that would benefit Black, Indigenous, and poor communities. Yeah, I've heard that too, unfortunately.
I haven't heard that, but he should be a lot further.
Onaha. Onaha means family?
A Noah.
What was it? Okay,
Hawaiian.
Oh, see, you know,
Wait a minute, that way it's not even a Noah. Ohana. Ohana is family in Hawaii. Hawaiian.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, Hawaii 5-0, because that's the only reason why
I didn't know. I'm like, what that mean?
If it wasn't for Hawaii 5-0, I would not have known Ohana means family.
I did. I'm like, what? I don't even know how but I'm just like, there are so many. And, you know, I put a clip in the group that I went with you guys talking about Brianna Joy Gray, who's not really one of my favorites, but people seem to like her. She was having a discussion about, you know, should the Democrats, and yeah, I'll ask you this question. Should the Democrats primary Joe Biden?
They can if all they want to. They ain't going to win. I ain't never watched one episode. I ain't watched no Leo. I'm a grown man. What am I doing watching Leo and Stitch?
Hey, I just watched the Super Friends today. Unless
my granddaughter or my grandson tell me to watch Leo and Stitch, and then I'll sit right there and watch Leo and Stitch.
You don't think they should primary Joe Biden? You really don't think that?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm a fair person. Could you explain to me why you think that?
Because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time and energy when you need to be trying to concentrate on more of trying to get as much as you possibly can out of this Democratic Party who ain't doing enough as it is. No, you rather put more energy in trying to primary Biden. It just comes off as just a fight piece. It doesn't come off as something real.
Yes, we know things. You gave us our plan, but this is my show, so I got to hear the plan again. I got to hear the plan again. I think primary his sad butt. Because that's going to put some fire under his trifling, doing nothing.
Mentality is we need to stop sending people one at a time. This person right here. So we're going to talk about this person right here. And we're only going to concentrate on this person right here. Oh, he lost? Let's go to this person right here. We're only going to concentrate on... No, we need to start just sending rows and rows. You want a primary Biden? Fine. I'm not going to ask you who. I'm going to ask you how many. How many people are you going to send to primary him? Because I guarantee you 9 out of 10 of them is going to be gone before it even gets close to the election.
I'm going to have to agree with what Anna said. The DNC is not going to allow it. Because
that too. But I was going by your...
I know you were just going by my question because back when Bernie wanted to primary Obama, because he seriously thought about primarying Obama. I know some people on here don't like Bernie, but you know I do. But he decided against it because he felt like, well, wait a minute, I'm this old white guy going against this young black man, and he's facing, it was his re-election. So that was Mitt Romney. So he decided it was something that Obama said to him. I don't know what it was, because I wish I was a fly on the wall, that made him not consider running as a primary candidate?
Let me put it to you this way. I believe if I think through history, and I think I'm right, I have to look it up. It has only been one time in American history where a sitting president was actually primaried and didn't win a re-election.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
And it was in the 18 somethings.
Yeah, we don't do that much.
So we ain't doing that now. We're never going to do that now. The second thing that's barely ever happens is a sitting president loses. So we're happy that Trump lost. We get
But
the
you
reason
know
why
he's-
Trump lost. But come on, people.
But
Let's go with the majority of history.
But Marlon, you do know Trump is going to win in 2024.
It is on people trying to stop him from even trying to even run in 2024.
He's going to run. Oh, wait a minute. We got another guest done jumped on in here. No, sir, you did not decide to come on in here.
I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna do it. I'm tired.
Look,
I'm tired, folks.
Look, Theus, did it not bother you to be hearing all this stuff and you had nothing to say back?
Yeah, it did.
That's why I jumped on last week, because I sat there and listened to y'all and I was like, but I got something to say to that. Wait a minute, I can't type all that. But yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I want to bring up Mickey's clip, because Mickey, it's like me and Mickey, we on the same wavelength. Like we on the same wavelength. Thank you, Mickey. That's why we don't have a third party candidate, because we keep voting for. I'm gonna tell you why I voted for Howie Hawkins. I'm gonna tell everybody why Howie Hawkins is who I voted for, because with Joe, he's the Green Party candidate.
He sell pizza.
See, I'm gonna take you right off the stream. I'm gonna just mute you right now, because I'm not gonna do that. So, the reason I voted against Joe Biden and against Trump, I had one main problem, because I seriously asked myself, Tracy, can you vote for a man who you believe is guilty of sexual assault? My answer was no. My answer, some people voted for Biden, but it just wasn't going to beat me. And plus, I live in Indiana. Trump was winning Indiana no matter what I did. I don't even think Biden campaigned in Indiana. I think he was like, no, I'm going to lose. But that was the essential question for me, because when I saw Tara Reid talk, at first I was like, girl, sit down. But when I heard her interview and then the collaborating witnesses, I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm not going to vote for this man. Oh, heck no. That was me. Some people said, she's a Russian Biden. I'm going to vote for Biden because he's not Trump. I get why people vote for Biden. He's not Trump. Trump is terrible. Trump is orange face. Trump is misogynistic. Trump is racist. Trump is every phobia that you could ever imagine. But that was why I voted for him. For who I voted for. I think if more people voted for their conscience instead of voting for, oh, I'm going to vote for this person because they have a shot at winning. I think that's why we keep getting the same corporate Democratic politicians that we get, because we're not willing to say, you know what? I don't like this Republican, I don't like this Democrat, but that third person over there, they got something.
What place did he land in after the election?
He did not win a lot of votes. But I'm telling you why. I'm explaining why I voted for him. Because
now, if I may, I'm going to back up Tracy here. Because
wait a minute, hold on. Did you say you gonna back me up?
Oh,
yeah,
I know. I know what's coming.
Not about the pizza man, but about.
See, he gonna get muted
Tracy,
again.
you've been on this. You've been with Theus long enough to know where he's going, but fine.
No, but I agree with Tracy about if people would legitimately vote their interests and their principles and get away from my team, your team, then we would see a whole different landscape. But we live in society that made a determination long ago that we were going to only have two parties. And because we don't have a parliamentary system, it's very difficult to vote your issues and vote your conscience, because at the end of the day, you have to react to the other party. Like,
unfortunately,
you're kind of forced into that. And one of the things because this is when I first really started paying closer attention, was with the Bernie campaign, the first one. That's when you started to realize or see third parties, unless the Democrat and the Republican nominee are flaming piles of hot garbage and you get to see it all the time, and even then it still probably won't matter because it's red team, blue team. An independent can't do much because you won't get the airtime. And a lot of the states, you can't even get on the ballot unless you're listed.
Yeah, because they fixed the voter, they fixed that so that only they could be on the
exactly.
Road. But see, now Susan that came with something I really like is ranked choice voting. I have to do more research on
that.
That
gave us Eric Adams, but no, it's more fair than what we have.
Yeah, it's better than what we have. It's way better than what we have.
We have to really start concentrating on primary, and I have been preaching that for the longest time. We really need to stop waiting until the last second when the Democrats and the Republicans and everybody else decide this is your best case scenario without doing our homework and going, no, that ain't our best case scenario. This is our best case scenario. This is just somebody who's good for your party.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
we always wait until everybody else done dropped out.
But that has to do with the media, though, Marlon, because the media plays a big role in it.
Then that again is your fault.
Yeah, that's the individual right there.
Yeah, but I get where you guys are saying it's the individual. But if all you watch is corporate, because most people are not watching independent media, they're just not. Most people are watching CNN.
And a lot of independent media is trash.
Some of them, but not us. We not the three of us is not trash.
But we're opinion. We're opinion.
We're opinion, right?
Yeah.
But most people are not watching independent media. They're watching the CNNs, the MSNBCs, Fox, on, et cetera, et cetera. Those networks are not going to talk about somebody like, well, he's probably never going to run again, Ralph Nader. I remember when I supported, and yeah, I'll say it, I supported Ralph Nader in 2000 because it was no way on this earth I was going to put my vote. Well, I didn't vote for Clinton, so what am I talking about? There was nothing that the Democrats were going to say to me to switch my vote. Nothing.
That's cool, but I think where we end up is there's only two ways to fix this thing. And now I'm speaking from my lens, which is, the Black community lens. There's no way for us to fix it. But then you broaden the lens and you start talking about those of similar shared interests. And now you're talking about working class. We're talking about poor white. We're talking about Black, Latino. We're talking about this huge swath that really doesn't know a party. We just line up with parties because of the screwed up system we're in.
Right.
That's where you can start to have some changes. But so long as you have two private entities, which I think a lot of people don't know, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are not government.
Nope,
they're private entities.
Exactly.
For profit.
And the media has one vested interest because they're all corporate. How do we maximize shareholder profits? Well, how do we do that? That's advertising revenue. Well, how do we do that? We make sure we're not too polarizing, or we're so polarizing we get all the money, right?
Yeah.
They literally cannot do real news and real journalism because we, the people, don't reward that.
No, we
punish
sure
that. So it's our fault. It's like it's still our fault.
If you spend more time, if we live in a society now where everything is so excitable, good or bad, whichever direction you want to do. But if it's not excitable, in other words, if it's not emotionally driven information, it doesn't sell. Facts, unfortunately, doesn't sell. If it's an emotion that will change you, change your rage, or make you feel happy, or make you feel scared, or make you feel hopeful. Those are the things that sell. Those are the only things that's going to be reported.
Yep.
And that's but Anna's bringing up a really good point, and a lot of people don't realize. Oh no, now my sister's in here. Hey!
How
A lot of people.
How many does that make?
That's 7. Oh, yo.
Can we get the double digits? Can we get the double digits?
Oh no! What a
Whoa. If anything, so that's 7 people. So that should be 7 likes.
Yes, that should be 7 likes. And
let me fix that right now.
I got to go back on your page. But go ahead, y'all.
All right.
But I think that what Anna was talking about is so true. When you vote in a primary, let's just say you somebody like me, you're gonna just support the third party. That you've made up your mind, you're gonna support the third party. Well, in the primaries, you got to pick either the Democrat or the Republican.
Most states, yeah.
Most states. So if you are gun ho set on voting for a third party, you got one or two options. One, don't vote, which I don't propose that because that's dumb. Or 2, you got to go with that whole lesser of two evils argument.
Well, I think that just the terminology of lesser of two evils needs to be retired the same way as vote blue no matter who needs to be retired. It's just too simplistic given how high the stakes are. It both sides everything.
Yeah, that one I'm like vote blue no matter. Yeah, it's
but
no
what
matter
I'm saying
who.
is I understand why those things are catchy and they caught on. It's because it's good marketing language. It's simple. You can grasp it, right?
And it works.
Yeah.
It does work on some level.
But the problem I have with it is like, you know, in the spiritual sense, like we're taught when you first come into your faith, you're on milk. And then, you know, because you get like the parables and all that stuff. And then you start learning more about scripture and messaging and things like that. And that's when you get into the bread and into the meat, right? That's how I view politics. But the problem that we have is everybody's stuck on milk. And instead of moving towards bread, we decided to go towards candy.
Now, you know, Theus, who you sound like Jim Clyburn when he's talking about stop sloganeering.
I mean, if he said that, then I agree with him. Because it's dumbing things down. Now, I'm okay with, you dumb things down for, you've heard me say this is when I've probably pushed back against one or two of you before. It's okay to make it simple when you're just trying to get the numbers up, right? All you're trying to do is stir up emotion to get people going. That's what the Republicans do. That's what the Democrats do. If you need to have turnout, you have to use emotion. And it needs to be easily digested. So vote blue no matter who. Everybody can pick up on that. But then people like us here, then we're like,
yeah, that's what
deeper
happened.
Than that.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's why Kirsten Sinema is in office because we voted blue no matter who.
That's not why she's in office.
No,
but
she was a very good liar.
Yeah, she literally misled the population.
That
whole vote blue no matter who, they should.
It's not why.
No, if you listen to Kristen Sinema's speeches all the way up,
you mean before or after she cried? Pretend cried.
No, not then. I'm talking about when she was campaigning. When she was campaigning, Kristen Sinema said everything that we wanted. She said it word for word, phrase for phrase. She didn't wither off of it. Absolutely not. The only time when Sinema started swiveling, as soon as she got elected.
Yep. Once she got that 6-year term, she was good.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm getting at. So vote blue no matter who. I want it retired because it's become this joke, this thing. But I also want us to get more people to turn out to vote. And you're not going to get the masses who don't pay attention to politics engaged by giving them college level political explanation.
Yeah, you can't do that because they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they're like, man, forget that, man. That's like 8 steps to nowhere. You have to get to them from the standpoint of vote blue no matter who. Get more people in there. That's all I need. That's what I need you to focus on, right? You know, tackle that guy, right? But then you start getting into the people who are more savvy, and you're like, all right, look, vote blue depending on who. Then you get the people who are more savvy, and you say, look, by the time the primaries come, it's already getting too late. We need you involved in the county so that you can help determine who even gets to be in the primary.
Yep.
You know, so there's these layers to it, but everybody wants the quick route. We just want to be like,
yep. And I want us to discuss what Mickey's talking about, because I literally am. That's what my show next week is going to be about. Blue MAGA, I promise, is worse than red MAGA. Oh,
worse, Tracy.
Worse.
Who on the blue MAGA is hanging people, shooting people?
No, I'm talking about
no. You said worse.
Yeah, so I said worse. Let me tell you why I think they're worse.
How many dead bodies we got on that side?
We're kind of the children. We're kind of the ones in Afghanistan who Joe Biden's put.
I'm talking about American citizens dropped dead or murdered. That's what I'm talking about.
Joe Biden was the one who started the war?
No, I said he put sanctions on Afghanistan that are leaving them depleted.
Which is still nothing compared to the 2 million
But this is why Blue MAGA is worse.
Because I really want to hear how blue.
This is why Blue MAGA to me is worse than red MAGA. Red MAGA, they're a bunch of idiots. We already know that. They ain't got no sense. They have no problems. Mm-hmm. But like red MAGA, blue MAGA, you better not criticize Joe Biden. Oh, he's doing great.
But how is that worse?
Oh, it's right worse. You got to get in some of the discussion groups. You could bring up something.
If we're going into the discussion groups, we're only talking about people getting their feelings hurt. That's still a death. So I'm still trying to figure out worse.
I think they're worse.
I guarantee. I put it to you this way.
Okay, death is not as bad as hurt feelings. I got you.
I'll give you an example. When Tara Reid came out and she made her accusations against Joe Biden, she's a Russian bot. Now, how you?
Didn't she get the same? So she got the same treatment that people got for going against Bill Clinton, people got for going against Donald Trump, people got for going. You see what I'm saying? So that's not political. That's the sickness of America.
I'm gonna just end it like this. If you think it's worse,
and that's my good point. Thank you, Susan.
When Trump was elected president, what happened? Name it. Name exactly what happened as soon as Trump was elected president.
Oh, he enacted the Muslim ban, or tried to.
Okay. When Biden won the election, what happened? We have people storming the Capitol.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think
so. So please explain to me how. So how is it worse? Ain't nobody die when a Republican wins office. People died when the Democrat.
I'm obviously not talking about the people who. Okay, then Trump was way worse, and red MAGA was way
worse. I'm like, death is murder is the worst. Like murder is the worst.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go to Mickey's comment because that's what Democrat. Oh, he's done. He gave us $1,400.
But you're still talking about talking those.
So that's bad. But it's not worse.
Okay, they're equal to.
No.
Y'all just Blue MAGA. Okay, it's
I'm
okay.
Not blue MAGA.
It's
I'm
okay.
Black.
It's okay.
That your definition doesn't follow for me.
First of all, explain something to me. What is the heck is blue MAGA?
It just got created like 3 days ago, apparently.
It's been around.
When did we ever say blue?
That's what Bernie Bros turned into. That's
blue.
There you go.
Make America great again. When did we ever?
We've been saying that. I don't know where y'all at, but the people in the comment section know where I'm going.
I'm stuck on worse, Tracy.
Y'all not gonna laugh. I'll put both of y'all on mute. I'll put both of y'all on mute for laughing at me.
Get me in trouble. See there, Marlon, always get me in trouble.
I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh.
Just laughing at me. Just making a mockery. I'm just allowing them to be guests on my platform.
Oh, God.
I love you, Tracy, and I back a lot of the stuff you're saying. It's just when you say worse, that's a really powerful word. That's one of them SAT words. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
I'm going to bring up this one. I'm just going to bring it up.
Yes, people in Afghanistan are dying of hunger. America destroyed that country, just like it destroyed Iraq, just like it destroyed Libya. And you got Republicans and Democrats' blood on the hands of all of that because America likes to use
Trump
other
didn't
nations.
Well, yeah, he did. I was gonna say no, he did. Yeah, he did. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're still
trying to find the parents for the children that Trump took. So, it's like America is just disgusting as far as how it views other people. Anybody who's not an American, their value is nil.
Yeah, the value is, who are you?
And then if you're an American, it's like, what kind of American are you? Are you an American that American? Or are you one of them suntan Americans? So it's, yeah. I agree. Now,
I'm just saying.
Now, here's the thing though. Before the Democrats were able to put that in there and bring people up out of poverty temporarily, it was then we know who to blame for why it went away. And his name is Joe Manchin. And Kirsten,
who's supposed to be a Democrat, but I digress.
Right, but we all know. See, Manchin's been a problem for 20 years, but people are just now looking at him. That's all. But my point, though,
and by the way, we got the child tax credit because of the Democrats.
Exactly.
You can blame them for taking it away all the heck you want to, because the Republicans weren't going to give you jack squat. As a matter of fact, I can prove that they weren't going to give you jack squat because not one named Republican voted for it to begin with.
And the Republicans actively were trying to take away SNAP benefits as well as WIC benefits. Now, how many children are starving or dying if they can't get that? So my point is not that the Democrats are great, because they're not. They're horrible. Yep. They're horrible.
And this is why I keep saying vote third party.
But
if you can find someone.
And that's cool. I would actually advocate for that because I don't have a party loyalty. So that's cool, but you gotta help me with how we're gonna get there. Because I'll go there with you.
Yeah, that's the part I haven't thought about. I have not quite thought about that yet. Because I'm like,
hey, Anna, your thought right there, the 100 kids that was reunited finally before Christmas shouldn't have never been separated to begin with.
And we can't keep blaming Biden per se for that, because his administration is literally trying to figure out and clean up someone else's mess. But you can blame America, because I don't care who your president is or what party's going, America's done this.
Now, Mickey has a point here. Manchin and Sinema, they're just the shield. I said this one on my page. Manchin and Sinema are shields. Don't think that those are the only two Democrats.
I'm
not saying they're the only two.
No. And by the way, you're absolutely right that they are the shield. They are the shield in front of people who already.
Yep, they are definitely the shield.
With. But the fact of the matter is,
they're there.
Unfortunately,
they also powerful enough to sit there and say what you're thinking and what you're saying is wrong. I disagree with what you're saying. You need to vote for what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. So even when we're mad, as I am, about the child tax credit situation, because it's like, thank you for advancing the child tax credit. Shame on you for not having anything in place to make sure it could continue, and that 1, 2, or 5 people could completely break it. Shame on you. But then I still have to look at the reality of who's on the other side of this. We have between 2 and 5 Democrats who are more loyal to their donors than anything in the world. There's more than that, but there's 5 who are like literally causing a problem. You have 50 Republicans sitting on their hands, getting a pass from everyone. We just say Republicans are terrible, they're horrible, but we don't go deep diving on them. We go to the Democrats because we expect better out of them.
Yeah, it's like
so we go at them hard.
Like I expect y'all to do, because I have no expectations of the Republican Party. I'm just like, y'all trash.
But that's the problem. But that's so unfair, though. That is literally
You'll hurt
unfair.
yourself.
The first thing that everybody on here is saying, and rightfully so, but I'm just throwing it out there. The first thing everybody said is, how can we make the Democrats accountable? Because we know the Republicans suck. We ain't saying nothing to them. So how we gonna make the Democrats accountable? It's like, okay, yeah, we agree. They suck. They should do better. But here are the words that I'm saying. Better, not something. They have done something. We need to make them accountable to do more. But when you sit there and try to pretend like the Republicans have not voted absolutely nothing for America that they know they wasn't going to get something in return for it.
Not in
When
30 years.
we had this, well, we not going to. There is no way in the world we're going to raise the debt ceiling in America. You a freaking lie.
Yeah, right.
Not because you have a good heart, because you know it's gonna mess with your people too.
Yep,
It's
and then
and
that same one that said, "Oh, I would never suspend the filibuster." You did for the debt ceiling. Wonder why you can't do it for voters' rights?
Because it's not in his personal political interest.
No, both him and Sinema did it.
If you,
I know, but here's, and I may be wrong on this, but I really do think that if Manchin caved, all the ones hiding in his shadow,
yes,
they don't want the lights to get turned on.
Yep, they sure don't. I agree with that.
He's the one that's standing there taking it because he's big enough to do it. He's been there long enough to do it, and he's immune to traditional Democratic pressure.
Yep.
So the others can hide behind him. If he steps out of the way and he relents, which he won't, because we're literally looking at a guy who said, "Okay, look, they're not going to go for the voting rights bill, but we have to have bipartisanship. So I'm going to write the bill." And then he puts out the bill and they still don't vote for it. And then now we're right back at it. And we're like, all right, well, Joe, the bill you wrote, the Republicans wouldn't help you. You said they would. They didn't. Okay. But we are willing to at least relent, and we'll go with your bill. We'll give you all 50 votes for your bill, Joe Manchin. And Joe Manchin's like, "Nah, I don't really like that bill. The bill you wrote."
Yep, the bill he wrote. Yep, he'll turn right around and be like, "Nah."
So then that brings me to what are our solutions? What do we do about it? Do we think, okay, Tracy, if you had the ability to make the decision to fix everything, and I knew that, how much are you really going to do for me if all I do is attack you? Probably not much.
Yeah, I'll probably be honest.
Right. And then, so then the option, I think, is we have to get more people to dilute people like him. We got to get rid of the territories, turn some of them into states. We got to play hardball in the poor states and around the country that the Democrats just give up and pretend like they ain't gonna do nothing with. You have to compete so that you can get back to, I think when Obama was in there, he had, was it 56?
That was Howard Dean had the 50-state strategy.
But it was like 56 senators.
Yep. Okay. No, he had 60, the supermajority.
Okay. So he had 60 senators. That means it's possible to get higher than 50.
Yeah.
But you can't do that if your own team is telling you that you're terrible, you suck, you're just as bad as the other guy, and you're not going to get there by telling people.
Wait a minute, we got a guess. Hold on, Theus. We got another one. Oh my gosh, I'm going.
That's good.
Y'all, come on now.
De'Aaron, what's up, man?
Yeah, so
man, that's the first time you've ever been on there. Okay.
And De'Aaron, you might like what I'm about to say. So I'm always making a point about the practicality of these emotional responses. I just don't think that they're practical. But I also say that I will go with you wherever you're going. I just need you to actually put forth a plan more than just your grievance and your emotions. So let's say that we go third party.
Yep.
What happens? What's the plan? Because if you get all the black people to go that actually vote, you're roughly at 7-8% of our population. What's that going to do? I mean, it has an impact because it'll piss the Democrats off and it'll push the election to the Republicans. So we know the political impact on that part. But what's the play?
You feel better about yourself.
Yeah, what's the play? What's next? What did we
That can't be the. I don't think that's
No,
the
I'm telling you
goal.
the truth. You will feel better about yourself because you voted for your conscience, i.e., you voted for your emotion.
That
And
no, but I disagree with
Because of
that.
the long run of it, Republicans going to get back into office.
I disagree with that so
Okay, explain to
emphatically.
me how they
Because
will
the
not.
reason I agree with
If
that
you vote
again,
third party,
yes, which I did, because I already
how is
said, hey,
but
Republicans
not
not
you
going to get?
individually, Tracy. We're
no,
talking
I'm
about you
saying
leading a movement towards
leading
that
the movement.
direction.
If I'm leading a movement of a third party,
Mhm.
we've already established from the get go. Well, first of all, I'm gonna be serious in saying this. I think this is what I think. I think that you have to engage the working class.
Okay.
You have to engage people of color,
Okay.
poor whites. I think we all get together and say,
Yep.
hey, we're going to do this.
Common
So,
interest. Got you. Which
common interest. Then, of course, you have to campaign on that and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. Forget about that one party, because to me, the Democrats, Republicans, tomato, it's all the same to me.
okay.
Somehow we have to do a better job, and I've said this at Green Party meetings, is, hey, we've got to get people away from the labeling and talk about the issues.
I
If
would
we
agree
could
with
just
that.
talk about the issues, we could do a whole lot better. But then the voting public has a responsibility too.
So
Because
I'm going to
we have
give
to,
you that hypothetical.
yeah, because
I'm a,
we have to tell the voting public, hey, they're going to try to deceive you and tell you that they're for Medicare for all. Well, no, Joe Biden said he would. I'll
but
tell
here's
you
the
what Joe
thing.
Biden said. He said, oh, I'll give you a $15 minimum wage.
He couldn't deliver it though. But check this out. Check this out. So let me go with you, right? So first part, we're
Thank,
heading towards.
thank you, De'Aaron. That's what I was
But that's
saying.
the Democrats, because at least the Republicans have an open primary system. Democrats are like, we're going to tell y'all who y'all going to vote
No,
for, and it don't
Republicans do
matter.
it too. Republicans
Are
do
you
it too.
serious?
They're
Republicans are
worse.
the
They're almost
master of
worse.
that.
You have to be ideologically pure on both ends. The both sides are just disgusting on their primaries. On the Democratic side, you got to be corporate, and then on the Republican side, you got to be like an ideologue nut job.
Yep.
But what I was saying is, we'll go down that path of third party. So to get more people involved, to say, hey, look, we're talking issues. We're talking about the things that cut across ethnic and group barriers,
Right.
right? Food, shelter, employment. That's like,
And housing.
that's what we're
Yes.
talking about right there.
Right.
Okay. Now, you have to deal with the marketing engine because you got to be able to reach these people. Now,
Absolutely.
fortunately, we have social media, so there's an alternate universe that in theory we could do better with. Still won't overcome the MSN, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But it'll get you more. So I'm gonna take that one, check it off the list. Then you have, what are you going to do with it? Because you're coming from a third party position. So are you just trying to get the presidency? Are you trying to get the presidency as well as congressional representation?
No, you would start. Yeah. Let me answer that question. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
Me, I'm starting with the city council. That to me, I'm starting this whole thing local. I'm talking about at the local level, because I know that's where these crazy bills come from. So
Yeah,
I'm
come
like,
through the states, yeah.
why am I starting with presidency?
So the reason why I said starting
It's
with the
a building
presidency
block.
is because we're talking about building mass consensus, right? So
Oh, well, okay.
if you're trying to get the masses involved, you need energy. And energy is going to
Absolutely.
have to bubble from multiple states all at the same time, because they feed the other states, right? Like when New York goes a certain way, that sends a signal to the other blue states that this person is like for real, right? So you have, that's why I said national, just because, not because that's who's going to make your impact legislatively, but that's who's going to get you the wins to make your third party viable. So if you get the presidency, or you pushing for the presidency, are you also pushing for everything below that? So now where do you get all these people? And where does the money come from to field that many people at one time? So it's like, my problem is not where I think many independents are trying to go, because I've been independent my whole life, but it's not that, like, I see where you're trying to go. I'm willing to go there with you. I just need to know how you even remotely think to do it, and what does that timeline look like? Because it seems like people want this to happen in 2 election cycles.
No, it's going to
And I'm
take longer
like,
than
it's
2
going to take
election
20,
cycles.
30 years to do what you guys are talking about.
I don't know about 20, 30 years, maybe 5 to 10.
5 to 10 is only 2 election cycles.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
So it's like,
oh, yeah, it sure is. I'm like,
oh.
Because I'm still thinking local.
Yeah. So when we talk local, the problem there is if you want criminal justice reform, you really need to do local politics, because that's who's going to determine what happens in your courtroom.
Yeah, I'm like, run local, because if you can build it, because I think of politics sometimes like a cake. If you can build independents and third parties at the local level, then that builds momentum. And it's now it's like, oh, okay, we might want to run for Congress.
But
And then
now
we
you
went
got to
into
do that. But now you're trying to do that in 200 different places all at the same time.
Yeah, that's the part I can't get to.
So
I can get to local level.
It gets really hard to make that even get started. They'll stomp it out before you can get it to move.
I still like to stay with the. I'm with you on one thing, Tracy, that I totally agree with. I would still like to stick with the local election,
because that's where the crazy
the state and the lawmakers and everything else. I'll say this before, but apparently, since you have a brand new audience here and
I know all
and
the
a big
people
old audience, I'll just repeat myself. Texas is a primary example of a state who, beyond a shadow of a doubt, really could give a rat's butt what goes on in DC.
California too.
And California, and at a certain point,
those are your biggest red and blues right there.
But Texas has the lawmakers in place, the senator in place, and the governor in place. Now, what do we do with that? We have people who want to run for president so they can run the country. No. We're good with the state that we have, where we can write the laws that we want to, where we can regulate how we want to, where we as a state decides who really can vote and who really can't, and how they can do it. So as much as DC is the big creme de la creme of everything that's going on, Texas has the marketing of a fascist state down pat. We could control our borders. Whatever y'all do on the outside, cool.
Yeah.
Texas is wrong. Texas is bad. Texas is terrible. Yeah, but we control everything. So,
but think about this though. Texas has been working to get to where they are right now for at least 40 years.
Yes.
Louisiana, totally Alabama, agree. Tennessee, they've been doing it for over 100 years. This stuff took a long time. So like what Aaron was just saying, time is short. People are hurting. And no one's relieved the pressure valve. Like every 50, 60 years, we relieve a little bit of pressure in the valve, have some unrest a little bit. Like we're back in the 60s in a way right now. But we're trying to decide, are we going to take this moment and we're back in the 60s. Are we going to push to go back towards the 80s? Or are we going to say we're so disgusted and fed up and stop fighting and just go on back to the 40s and the 50s? That's where we're at.
I will argue this right here. As much as we keep saying over and over again, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. I get that it's going to take a long time. You know what's going to take longer than the long time that we already been talking about? When we never start. And that's the issue that we have.
Yeah, people are.
It is. But my deal
I'm trying to talk about the people who are just busy being.
I understand what you're saying. And those are the people that we need to get on board of saying, look, there's a difference between it's going to take a long time and you throw your hands up and go, aha, and we can explain to you, well, the crap that we in right now didn't start yesterday. It accumulated over an extended period of time. It's going to be fixed over an extended amount of time. But every time you want to start and stop and start and stop and start and stop.
Yep, I agree with that.
That's what's going to take it a lot longer. That's why me and Theas have been saying for a long time, take your doggone emotions out of it. Every time, and I was explaining this to my daughter the other day. When you're happy when everything is going straight and everything else, that's when you can take a breather. And I get that. Sometimes you need to take a breath. Also, this is a time when you need to be looking at certain things that you need to be doing that's going to protect you when things start going bad.
Because they will
Instead of
start
Because
wait
they
going
for
will.
bad.
That's the
instead of
point.
waiting for it to go bad, and then you in a huff and a puff, and oh my God, and the world gonna end, and blah blah blah, and everything else. Really, you was okay last year. Now, what did you do last year? I was enjoying myself because of what happened the year before.
I was catching flights, not feelings.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now that
Yeah.
things are going bad, what are
Mm-mm.
you going to do about it? I don't know. It's just going to take a long time. I just don't feel like dude, this is too much of a roller coaster even for me, and I like roller coasters. I can't do this over and over and over again with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak to the people who has the gumption.
Thank you.
Keep forgetting about Tracy, who has the gumption to keep fighting. Even when things are going good, keep fighting. When things are going bad, keep fighting. I'm not trying to make this a slogan. I'm trying to make this as a war cry.
Well, what
Yeah.
you're
But
referencing, Marlon, is the difference between mobilizing and organizing.
yeah.
Right now, we're all mobilized. We're upset. It's like if the police officer is roughing you up. I'm gonna say America is the police, right? That's the Democrats and the Republicans. They just wearing the same dang on uniform, okay? And they're roughing you up in the street, and you're getting angry because you know it shouldn't be like this. An emotional response is pulling your shirt off, knuckling up, and trying to swing with the cop in the streets because you're not gonna keep disrespecting me right now. Now, what you gonna get out of that?
Probably beat up.
Yeah,
Probably
you
death.
hopefully you just get beat up,
Yeah, hopefully.
right? Or you can say, all right, cool. Look, the police are not my friends. In fact, they're an occupying force in my community. They mean me no well. They steal and they harm, but they also keep some of the worst at bay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to survive this interaction with this officer right now. And I'm going to work with my lawyer and I'm going to work with blah to make that officer's life hell while I use the rest of the officers to run interference for the drug dealers who are trying to
Yeah.
cause problems on my street. And
But
I will build a community organization, third party, that will soon be able to replace this police force.
yeah, and I think that's well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm looking at what time it is. so, so that
I
was a
will
good.
mute myself.
No, I'm not gonna beat you guys. At towards what we're uh, rolling towards the end because this can't be a 3 hour show. I got to go to work tomorrow. I want because again, this is MLK Day,
Yeah,
and
he
I
didn't mute
started.
himself.
Did I mute you? Oh, he
He
muted
did.
himself. I'm gonna take him off of mute because I want a 2 minute summary. Don't go all day about what it is that you think
Wait a
that's
minute, wait a minute.
most
Let me mute myself because it depends on what your question is.
misunderstood. What do you think that the general public misses about Dr. King in this day? Because I think we're seriously missing something. And Marlon, I'll let you go first.
Honestly, I think that what they're missing is a man with a good enough character to admit, at, unfortunately, at the end, that he was wrong. And we don't have enough political leaders at all, social leaders at all, who can admit that my message, for as many years as I possibly have been saying it, may not have been the correct answer to my people. We have people right now who, this is my stance, and no matter how much you have proven it wrong, I'm going to stick to my stance. And we don't have too many people like that now. And that's the one thing that I would really miss about him, is that I wish we had more people to admit that they are allowed to change course when it new information comes to light that this is something that needs to be changed course. I would rather be looked at as wrong and let's change course to correct it compared to I'm just gonna keep going on and on and on and on. And now I'm gonna mute myself again.
Okay, Theus, go ahead, please.
I say that our Martin Luther King Jr., and when I say our, I mean Black people in the working class of America across all ethnic groups, because Martin was truly trying to come at it from his faith walk, as well as his civil liberties perspective, which was shaped by his faith walk. They killed our Martin Luther King, but their Martin Luther King continues to live to this day. Martin Luther King is not Jesus. He'd be the first one to tell you he wasn't. But I'm using those two characters to show what has happened. You took the realness of Jesus and his message and what he came for and stood for and ultimately died for, which was a complex entity, killed him, then replaced him with a character or a caricature, which was much more two-dimensional instead of three-dimensional. So you can reshape the message so that now the idea of Jesus can be used to back up white supremacy, capitalism, and all those things. Same thing they did with someone like, say, a Martin. Kill the three-dimensional character, replace him with a two-dimensional character. Now it's, I have a dream, nonviolence, but it's not the FBI and the full weight of the US government harassing his wife and his children and him. It's not the FBI being complicit and having to admit that they played a role in his assassination. It's not him being killed because he switched from nonviolent Negroes to anti-war, which is anti-colonialism, and Poor People's Campaign. So to me, killed the man, but the character lives on.
That was a lot that you all both said. And what I want to say is, especially on this type of day, I want people to realize who Dr. King was. He was a Baptist preacher who saw wrong and decided to do something about it. Now, what methods he used, okay, we can all argue about that all day and all night, etc. But I want the 8 people watching, because we got 8, to think about that when we say, because it gets tiresome advocating for people that don't seem to want to advocate for themselves. Remember that you have to start somewhere. You have to have enough fight in you to fight for somebody who does not want to or does not know how to fight for themselves. And that's what I think that Dr. King did. He fought for people who were not in the position to fight for themselves, and then made others realize, you know what? He's got some good things. Now, I agree with you, Theus. Obviously, he would be the first to tell you he had imperfections. But I want us to take that away, is get in the fight, because that's what we're in. We are literally, everybody says this is the election of our lives. Well, forget that. Let's get into the fight for a fair wage, for health care, for tax credits, for parents. Let's get in that fight, and let's just keep fighting, because we can't stop fighting until we win. So that's what I want to leave everybody with this evening. And I want to thank the highest audience I've ever had watch this show. I want everyone to tune in this Thursday, because the Thursday after next I will not be taping. So I'll be taping the 20th, not the 27th, for Thursdays with Tracy. I want to thank everyone on this platform for coming. Guys, Theus, tell us where we can find you.
Hey, everybody. So you can find me online at complexsimpleman.com. ComplexSimpleMan.com.
And Marlon, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me every Saturday on the Saturday Night Vibe Show at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find me every Sunday at Radical Truth to Power, 9 o'clock every Sunday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
And everyone, I want to thank you all, especially the comment section. Oh my goodness. I'm like, oh, I never saw that person. Never saw. Thank you all so much. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and if you can, support us on Patreon. We've got a lot of great things planned. I will see you this Thursday, everyone, and have a great evening.